Hello, everyone. Let me fix this. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. Hello, everyone. I am disturbedcanon. You can call me Disturbed. And today we're going to be doing something fun. We're going to be playing in a different format than we usually do. We're going to be playing in Pioneer with this deck right here, calling it Mono Green Proliferate. We're playing with a 17-ish tick budget, 17-ish dollars, and this is what it looks like on MTGO. For the main deck, we've got Evolution Sage and Karn's Bastion as ways to proliferate +1 and loyalty counters on our creatures. We've got some turn 1 ramp and Llanowar Elves, and we've got a bunch of turn 2 ramp, some Wayward Swordtooths, Jiang Yangus to turn our Arboreal Grazers into Llanowar Elves, and just a bunch of ways to get mana for our things. Then we have Nissas to turn our lands into 3/3s. We've got Awakening of Vitu-Ghazi to turn our lands into 9/9s, and Voracious Hydras, which are just really good big creatures that we can pump a bunch of mana into late game to either be a good removal spell or a truly huge creature. Beyond that, we're just trying to make a lot of big things and pummel our opponent to death with them. That's the goal. In the sideboard, we have pretty standard things: Sentinel Totem for Graveyard Hate, Natural State for Artifact and Enchantment Hate, Feed the Clan for Aggro Hate, Forced Landing for Flyer Hate, Rex Sage and Mockery of Nature as additional Artifact Hate, more Artifact and Enchantment Hate, and Indra's Forerunners to help us aggro out a little bit if our opponent is doing something more combo-y, because we need to be, if they're not going to interact with us, then we can get away with playing something a little higher on the curve and try to blow them out quickly since we do have so much ramp. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into games as quickly as possible because I'm feeling it today. Let's see, already got the right one up. Pioneer Tournament. Gonna just hit join, create. I'm realizing we don't have the win-loss tracker up. Is it on there? Yeah, it is. So let's go ahead and YouTubes and resources. That's video resources. Where did I put that? I put in documents. Win-loss counter. There we go. Minimize that. Now I can record the win-loss ratio, which will be like hopefully a great ratio. Hopefully it will be 5-0. I would love to go first. Good luck to our opponent, Crumpet 1693. This is actually a pretty great hand. We can get down a turn 2 Jiangyu with an Arboreal Grazer as a blocker that we can turn into a 1/4 Llanowar. Just a good hand across the board, I think. Yep. I would love to put in this forest, please and thank you, and we're just going to pass it back to our opponent. This Nissa's Triumph isn't super useful here, but it also doesn't matter that it's not. Oh, but Nissa who shakes the world absolutely is super useful. We're going to get that Jiangyu, put a counter on the Arboreal Grazer. Do we want to poke in for 1 here? I don't think we do. I think we keep him back as a 1/4 blocker in case our opponent has something hasty. Because our Jiangyu only has 2 loyalty counters, and that's just nothing. And then our Arboreal Grazer won't be very useful whatsoever. Okay, well, that kind of invalidates anything that we would want to be doing. Oh, but that's good. Alright, well, now we can go ahead and Nissa we're going to +1 on a forest. And let's get in there. I forget it gives it haste. I always appreciate that. Do we want to Nissa's Triumph here? I don't think we do. I know our opponent's just going to attack over us anyway, but it doesn't matter that we get 2 extra lands at this point. They're just going to be basic forests. Or I suppose 3 extra because we do have a Nissa Planeswalker out here, don't we? Scrap Heap Scrounger. Alrighty then. Now the question here is if they're going to go in at a Jiang Yu and kill it, or if they're going to get in at Nissa. It would make sense to go after Nissa here. They're going after Nissa. Okay. Well, that actually works out pretty well for us, because now we can put another counter on Arboreal Grazer and it can block Heart of Kiran. Ooh! Ooh, that's actually great. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to tap these 2 for 4 mana, untap one of them, then we're going to Karn's Bastion Proliferate, naming everything that we can. We don't have any counters on ourselves. And then we're going to put another counter on our Arboreal Grazer, because pretty soon here that's going to be big enough to kill a Heart of Kiran. Gonna get in for 8. And this is what we're trying to do here. We've got some big creatures that our opponent just can't get past anymore. Even the Heart of Kiran can't get past our Arboreal Grazer, our 1 mana ramp creature. And that is the goal here. That's what we're trying to do. Oh, they're gonna bounce that. Alright, they're gonna try and kill our Nissa. That's fair. I don't blame them for that. I'm upset that they can, but, you know, whatever. We do have lethal, though. So, our opponent has to either kill... They have to kill something, because we have lethal on board. We can just put a counter on a forest and attack in for 9. They're going to pay some costs, and they're going to stomp. Alrighty then. Yeah, that's... not fine, but there's nothing I can do about it. Alrighty then. Well, what do we want to do here? Let's go ahead and undo. I'm going to attack in first. Yep. Get them down to 1 hit point. Gonna Nissa's Triumph. Get 2 forests. Play a forest. Play the Arboreal Grazer. Yep. Get another forest on the field. Rampin'. And we're gonna pass and sit. I could play the Llanowar Elf off of one of our creature forests, but I don't want to do that. Just a thing. I think our opponent is pretty stuck here. They can't even tap their Spire of Industry or Chivalry for mana, so for colored mana. Not that they need it, just that that's how dire their health is right now. They're gonna Rekindling Phoenix. That doesn't save them. They don't know that we have a Jiang Yanggu in hand that we can fire up our Arboreal Grazer and it'll be big enough is the thing, I think. Which is to our advantage, because we're going to play this, put a counter on the Arboreal Grazer. And they only have 2 blockers no matter what they do that I know of. And I'm just going to go ahead and get in. Yep. Game 1 down. So what is our opponent doing? They look like they're just an is it aggro-y list. What do we want to bring in against them? I think 2 Rex Sages and 2 Force Landings. Force Landing is something that can deal with a Rekindling Phoenix, which is very big here. We can cut 2 Triumphs, an Elf, and what else do we cut here? Do we cut a Jiangyangu? It was good to us this game, but I don't think it's actually that good in this matchup. Yeah, I think we run it back like that. Or actually, let's cut a Sword Tooth and put back in a Llanowar. Because we need to make sure that we hit our higher drops, our Rex Sages and our Nissas. Alrighty then, yeah, this is a keepable hand. We've got a Forced Landing in case they have a Phoenix. We don't have a whole lot, but 2 Wayward Sword Tooths if we can ascend is quite good here. And since our opponent's an Is It, we should be able to ramp out and get ahead of them. That's why Gruul is so powerful in this meta in Pioneer right now, is because Gruul is able to ramp out, get really big creatures, and they're playing powerful red creatures like Rekindling Phoenix. Alright, we're gonna Forest, we're gonna Llanowar, and then we're gonna pass. Because we have nothing else we need to do with that. The fear here is if they stomp our Llanowar elves, we're pretty tight on mana. Yep, they're gonna stomp our Llanowar elves. Yep. That was a risk. We won game 1 though. I don't mean to be a downer and already be going to game 3, but anytime that we're just using a Bond of Flourishing as a way to gain life, we're in pretty dire straits. Voracious Hydra is a good blocker. And we gain 3 life, back up to 20. Bond of Flourishing, I feel like, helps this deck out a lot. Just the 3 life main deck is very helpful when we're such a slow deck most of the time. Alright, the opponent is going to get down that Harder Kirin. I'm surprised they didn't do that pre-combat. They might not have known that Harder Kirin triggers prowess, or they might have been holding something up for me. Alrighty then, let's go ahead and we're just going to get out this Wayward Sword Tooth so we can get another land out. Try to get our permanent count up. Ideally, we'd have a way to turn this Darksteel Citadel into something, because at the moment it's just not what we need. Alright, they're going to get that Bone Crusher Giant so they can fire up their Heart of Kirin. Yep, and they're going to get in 4-5. Nothing we can do about that, really. We could have held up Forced Landing in order to get rid of their Heart of Kirin. Ooh, well that's interesting. I can't cast it this turn, but I can Nissa's Triumph, get 2 forests, get 2 forests, there we go. Play 2 forests. I'm up to 7 permanents. Do I just need to Forced Landing the Heart of Kirin? Is the question. Or do I Wayward Sword Tooth and take my beats? I think I Wayward Swordtooth because it doesn't matter. They might not even fire up the Heart of Kieran next turn, since Bone Crusher Giant isn't able to be blocked anyway. So it's better to try and A, get up my permanent count so that I can ascend next turn, and B, make sure that I have some chunky blockers for the future. So we'll go in real low here, yeah. It's unfortunate they had another creature they could fire up Heart of Kieran with. Alrighty then. So, what we're gonna do here is... yeah. So we need to make sure that we have enough mana up for Forced Landing. So if I tap 5 of these, I'll have 4 up. I can untap a creature, untap a land, make it a 3/3. Yeah, I think this is how I do it. I Nissa. I go ahead and untap a Darksteel Citadel. And we will attack in with the Darksteel Citadel since it has Vigilance, and hold back the rest of our creatures as blockers. We need a way to gain some life, or at least put on some pressure against our opponent. This Forced Landing is pretty important against the Heart of Kieran they have. Yep, they're gonna crew it. I'm gonna wait till they attack with it before I send it back to their hand. Send it back to the bottom of their deck. Alright, Forced Landing. Gonna counter it. Aether Gust. Yep, alright. We're gonna put it on the top. We need to at least have the ability to deal with it next turn. If they don't draw a counterspell is the problem. Oh, never mind, we're dead. Okay. Yep. That's that. Alright. Well, problem there is that we just couldn't gain enough life. We should have brought in Feed the Clans. Do I want to bring in Feed the Clans now, though? I'm on the play instead of the draw. I think what I do is I cut... Where's Rexage? There's Rexage. Not the good Rexage. I cut one Rexage, and I'm going to bring in... No, I'm going to bring in both Feed the Clan. I'm going to bring in 2 Feed the Clans. What do I want to cut? Do I want to cut the other Rexage? Or do I want to cut a ramp piece? I think I cut a Lana War because it dies so easily. Paradise Druid at least has hexproof most of the time. I would love to play first, please and thank you. I can't keep this, it's just way too much land. Yeah, I can keep this, however. Awakening is great to see. I think we're going to put the Voracious Hydra on the bottom. It's a huge creature, but without reach, it's not that helpful right now. And Awakening is a bigger creature that will cost less. We're going to Arboreal Grazer, yep. Put a Forest into play. Pass the turn. Bowmat Courier, okay. Okay, yep. We're gonna exile a card, bounce it off the Arboreal Grazer. Ooh, okay, well... Paradise Druid. Yep, and pass. Question is, does the opponent want to risk us trading off our Paradise Druid for the Courier? Looks like they do. And they made the right choice because I'm not going to block. Heart of Kirin. Alrighty then. Something to make this Arboreal Grazer would be nice. Big. I mean, I skipped a word in there. Alrighty then. Well, I can go ahead and on their instep get a 9/9, and I think that's what I'm going to do here. Well, they're not ready for it. Interesting. Alrighty then. I am once again going to not block. I considered trading it off because I won't need it, but if I try to tap it for mana, they might kill it and then it's just a waste. Blood Crypt, untapped. They're going to cast an Aether Sphere Harvester. Okay. That's unfortunate for us, because that's a way for them to gain life. We're going to go ahead and fire up a forest, turn it into a 9/9. Now we can play a Darksteel Citadel. And we're going to go ahead and attack in for 11. Bring them down to 7. Put them on the defensive. My mouse is doing some weird things. Play a Paradise Druid. And pass. Yep, how much does it cost for them to crew this? Just a crew of 1. That's unfortunate. They're going to play Steam Vents untapped. What are they playing here that they need an untapped Steam Vents? Alrighty then, Rekindling Phoenix. That's a great blocker on their part, yeah. They can... Let's see, can they kill this Vitu-Ghazi? I attack in, most they can achieve is 8 power here. But there's no point in attacking in with Paradise Druids because they can kill the Paradise Druids and gain life off of it. So I think I Nissa's Triumph. Get 2 forests, play a forest, and I'm just going to pass. Not much I can do here. Let's see. So they're going to play a Steam Vents, tapped, Monastery Swiftspear, Bowmat Courier. They're going to get in. They're going to cycle their hand when I inevitably block with Vitu-Ghazi here. That's 4 new cards for them, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Ooh, Feed the Clan is not super helpful here. It does put us at a virtual 30, which is interesting and fun and all that, but it doesn't help us much. The opponent, thanks to that Bowmat Courier, has managed to draw a lot more cards than we have this game, and that might be our undoing. It might just be that we're stuck because of that Rekindling Phoenix, which just... we have the answer to, it's just not in our hand. We have multiple answers to it, actually. Voracious Hydra being one of them, even. Alright, they're gonna fire up their Ethosphere Harvester, gonna try and gain some life, it looks like. Alrighty then. I will let it go through since we are at a virtual 30. There's no real benefit to not taking the damage here. And they have lifelink either way. Llanowar Elves. That's not super helpful. I'll play it. I'm going to hold this forced back in case they're playing Hand Disruption. That might be a good way to get them to give up 2 of their own health for no good reason. If they have a Thoughtseize, for example. Well, the opponent, I think, is not really intending to have this many lands in the entire game, so being where they are probably feels pretty weird on their part. Yep, they're going to get in for another 3, gain another 3. Yep. Evolution Sage, that's helpful. That makes our Vitu-Ghazi a 9/9 next time we play a land. But the bigger thing is that it's a 3/2. And instead of our 2/1s that we've been playing with. It does turn on the removal in our opponent's hand though. I believe we're going to pass through our turn here. Continuing to hold up Feed the Clans. Oh, they're going to Abrade Evolution Sage. It did turn on the removal. At least they did it on our turn rather than get the value out of the Monastery Swift Spear. I think that might have been a misplay on our opponent's part, since they have so much mana. There's no real benefit to not casting it on your own turn. They're going to get in for another 3 that we just can't deal with. Oh, they're going to get in with for 4 that we can't deal with. Alrighty then. Yep. We can block with our Boil Grazer, but it won't do anything. I'd rather... I'm going to go ahead and cast the Feed the Clans now. Get us back up to 20. Demoralize the opponent a little bit. Paradise Druid. Well, I think now we go to we're going to start attacking. We probably should have been attacking beforehand. They've been holding up stuff in order to pump this Monastery Swift Spear. I know it, which means that even though it looks like we would be able to trade with the Swift Spear, we probably won't be able to. Yeah, they're going to Petty Theft a Paradise Druid and kill the other one. Might even get out that Brazen Borrower to speed up their clock. I don't think we have a lot of things we can do about this. Problem with attacking with Vitu-Ghazi now is that they can get in with the ground creatures. We're going to trade off this Llanowar Elves in a heartbeat, though. Alright. So, we're going to go ahead and kill off those 2 and leave Rekindling Phoenix alive, because there's no point in killing it. Yep. Bring them down to 9. And then we're gonna Paradise Druid. And Paradise Druid. Problem here is that the opponent still just has a faster clock than we do, since we can't attack around their creatures very well. Very efficiently. And they can keep holding back this Rekindling Phoenix, while we just don't have that luxury. We need something we can cast, is really what we're at. We're hitting a lot of little things, ramp pieces, life gain, that just don't matter in this context. But we need something like a Nissa or not a forest. Anything but a forest. We're just gonna pass it back because our opponent can kill anything we attack with, except for, you know, one Paradise Druid and one Land of Werewolves. We're gonna stomp our Land of Werewolf. Then they're gonna play their Bone Crusher. Yep. Fire up the Ethersphere with the Bomat Courier. Oh, they're just gonna get in for 3. Okay. They're playing it very safe. They could absolutely be doing more than that. Alright, so that Awakening is huge. So we can fire up this Darksteel Citadel and we'll actually have an indestructible Vitu-Ghazi, which will be much better than just a forest Vitu-Ghazi. Doesn't mean that we're coming back just yet. It just means we have a thing we can cast. Alright, they're going to cast a Royal Scions. Loot. Oh no, they're going to buff. Okay. Well, in response, we're going to go ahead and fire up this Darksteel Citadel. See if it gets countered. Nope. And we're gonna eat that Monastery Swiftspear. Going down to 11 though, which is not great. Really, a way to get rid of this Rekindling Phoenix is what we want to see here. Because then we're in great shape. Because our Vitu-Ghazi being huge and indestructible is just such a threat to our opponent if they didn't have the perfect chump blocker. Opponent is not letting us draw a card, apparently. Really thinking about whether they want us to draw a card here. Oh, okay, they decided they do. They do want us to draw cards. Interesting. Interesting choice on their part. Alright, Nissa. How do we feel about Nissa here? Problem is our lands aren't indestructible except for Vitu-Ghazi. But they do have Vigilance, which doesn't matter much. So we're gonna play Nissa. We're gonna uptick Nissa on a forest. And we're gonna go to combat. This might not be the best play here, but I think it is time to pressure our opponent. So we're gonna hold back our Boil Grazer and a Paradise Druid. I think they can get in for... Does this come back with haste? Yes, it comes back with haste. So 4 flying, 3, 6. Yeah, okay, so we can't keep Nissa alive no matter what we do. So we might as well just attack all in. Let's see what our opponent wants to do. They're going to crew up Aethersphere Harvester. Going to eat the forest, I imagine. With that, block the Rekindling Phoenix. And eat a Paradise Druid. Yep, go down to 5. Let's now see if we can't get them to go in at Nissa and tap down a little bit more than we should. They should. They're going to play a Swift Spear. Going to play a Bomat Courier. It's interesting to me that they haven't been trying to use this Bomat Courier for anything other than crewing up Aethersphere Harvester. So let's see how much they're going to get in at Nissa. Alright, let's see. Alright, did I miscount? Do they have lethal here? So 4, 8, 10, 11, 12. Yep, they have lethal. Okay. Yep. I miscounted. It also wouldn't have mattered that much, I think, but that is what it is. So let's go ahead and count that as loss number 1. It was overall a really close game, but we did lose. F. Barkles. Good luck to F. Barkles. Let's see what they are playing. They're going to go first here. Really thinking about it. Actually, if they're really having a hard time deciding if they're going to go first here, but I think it's safe to say that they will. Stretch. Alright. Yeah, they decided they're going to go first, I believe. I can't keep a no-lander. I can keep this one, and we're going to put back in a redundant Evolution Sage. Done. Alright, we're going to F6 through their turn. Overgrown Tomb, untapped. Pelt Collector. Alright, so they're going to be a Golgari aggro deck. Aggro E deck. Gonna F6 through their turn because there's not anything I can do. Hardened Scales, alrighty then. Stone Coil Serpent for 1. Yep, that's a thing. Yep, no blocks. So we might just be too slow against this in this match. We'll see. I think it's pretty safe to say that we will be. Have it Wayward Swordtooth needing to be ascended before we can use it to block is a problem. Because now with the second Hardened Scales especially, yeah. A Stone Coil Serpent for 2 is even able to get that Pelt Collector up to a 5/5. 6/6, I'm sorry. Yep. No blocks. Nissa's Triumph. That doesn't help us a whole lot. And they do have lethal next turn. So we're going to scoop it up before they see anything more that we have. So far we just look like mono green ramp, which is kind of what we are. So we definitely need all the Feed the Clans. Natural State. Rex Sage. Anything else we need to bring in? I think that's it. That's a lot. Let's go ahead and sort by CMC. We're going to cut an Arboreal Grazer, a Lana War. Let's cut. Let's only bring in 2 feed the clans. Cut down Nissa's Triumph because it's slow. Cut a Jiang Gu because it's slow. And 2 Evolution Sages. Run it back like that. Everything else feels pretty decent. I would love to play first, please and thank you. But not with this hand, mulligan. This looks really slow. But I don't know if we can go to 5 against our opponent here. Voracious Hydra is at least able to block for a little bit. I think we keep this on the play. We're gonna put back a forest. No, we'll put back Paradise Druid. Let's put back a forest. Done. Let's play a forest. Play a Land of War. Pass through. Pass through their turn. We're not gonna have any instant speed interaction. Turn 1 Pelt Collector, which is just the best thing they can possibly play. We're gonna go ahead and get out this Sword Tooth. Get out of Darksteel. Yep. This Voracious Hydra is a good removal spell as well. We can kill that Pelt Collector, assuming they don't get it too big this turn. We're gonna X2 that Stone Coil Serpent, make a 2/2 and turn the Pelt Collector into a 2/2. Alright, we're gonna take it. Ooh, Bond of Flourishing, that's a cantrip that gains us some life, that has value. Alrighty then, we're gonna go ahead and Voracious Hydra for X2. Yep. And we're going to fight the Pelt Collector. Get it off the field. Fight target creature you don't control. Hitting Pelt Collector. Okay. And then we will pass it back to the opponent. Again, Voracious Hydras. Oh, wow. They just scoop it up to that? Wow, that's huge. Apparently they really were relying on that Pelt Collector. I did notice that they had a lack of Winding Constrictor / Hardened Scales on turn 2. But I don't know that they needed to Arena Scoop that quickly, but whatever. I'll trust my opponent's judgment. Can we keep this? So we can turn 1 Forest our Boiled Grazer. They'll already have a Pelt Collector out. Turn 2, have 2 mana, Bond of Flourishing, gain 3 life, hopefully get a land, play the land. Turn 3 Rex Sage / Jiang Gu. Yeah, I don't think we can keep that. Oh, and this isn't any better, really. Natural State has some value. Bond of Flourishing has some value. Nissa's Triumph at least will help us hit our land drops. Yeah, I think we keep this, and we'll put back the Awakening because it feels slow. Done. Alright, F6 through our opponent's turn. They're going to shock an Overgrown Tomb. They're going to play a Pelt Collector. Of course they are. We're going to play a Forest. Pass the turn. Get ready to blow up a Hardened Scale if they have that in hand. Castle Lock Twain for the opponent. Another Pelt Collector. Okay. Gonna get in for 1. we draw. We get another Bond of Flourishing. Well, I suppose we can go ahead and fire that off. No point in holding up natural state here, I don't think. Alright, we've got all permanents. What do we want here? Next turn, if we wanted to... Well, next turn we could play Nissa's Triumph. Have 1 mana open for natural state. Turn after we could... Wayward Swordtooth, play 2 lands. Go up to 5 mana. I think we probably want the Paradise Druid because it can block, while Wayward Swordtooth just can't. Or at least it won't for a long period of time. Alright, the opponent is going to play Nissa. Grow their dorks. Grow their pelt collectors. Oh, we'll play a 1-1. Play a 0-1. Alright, they're going to get in here for 2. Nissa's Triumph again. This is the bane of ramp decks, is that we get a lot of ramp pieces when we don't always want them. Alrighty then. It looks like our opponent might be having a hard time finding a 2-power thing, which works out well for us. We're going to go ahead and play this Paradise Druid. And pass turn. There is a swamp, 3rd source for Castle Locktwain. That's what they're looking to do. Alright, they get to get in. I will happily trade off this Paradise Druid for a Pelt Collector. Hopefully it'll let me. Looks like I can. Okay, good. Ooh, Land of War Elves. That's not super helpful. Oh, hello, Mr. Shy. It's good to see you. How are you doing today? How has your day been? Alright, I'm going to get out this Land of War. Going to play Bond of Flourishing, go back up to 20, see what I can find. Rex Sage is interesting, but I think I'm just going to play the Forest so I can hold up Natural State. And I'm going to pass turn. Well, they Fatal Push. Alright. Play another land. They're not drawn well, but they do have a better board state than I do. Alright, they're going to get in 4-3. Bring us back down to 17. Our Boreal Grazer. Well, that's a blocker, I suppose. Well, we can Nissa's Triumph, play a land, our Boreal Grazer, put the other land in play. I think that's what we do. It effectively only costs 1 extra land since we weren't going to hit our land drop otherwise. And we still get to hold up 2 mana. Our opponent's really thinking about if they want to let that Nissa's Triumph resolve, but, you know, they let it go. Probably just reading the card. It's not a super commonly played card, but it just synergizes well with the deck since we're trying to play so many lands. Alrighty then, they're gonna draw a card with Locktwain, go down to 16. Castle Locktwain? Locktwain. Are they on a lock? Well, they're in the sky. Alright, they're gonna make 6 mana here? 6-ish mana here? I don't know what they're trying to cast. An X1 Walking Ballista. Okay. So they were considering if they wanted to do an X3 Walking Ballista. They're going to put a counter on it. On the board. Castle Lock Twain. Alright, well, let's go ahead and natural state that Walking Ballista. Now that they're tapped out. They're gonna ping our face for 2. Oh. They're gonna ping our Boreal Grazer so we can't block one of their plant tokens. The bigger of their plant tokens. But we do get a free block off this one. Save 1 damage. We go down to 11. Evolution Sage. Well, that's both helpful and not super helpful. For right now, we're going to Jian Yangu. Going to negative on this, our Boreal Grazer. Get it big enough to block a Pelt Collector again. And play the Evolution Sage. Next turn, we can minus on Evolution Sage and play Nissa's Triumph. Get a land out. Get these guys a little bit bigger. See who has the better +1/+1 counter deck. Oh, they're going to take out Nissa's Triumph. That's hurtful. Truly, truly hurtful. They go down to 12 from that. They're going to draw with Lock Twain. Go down to 10. Our opponent has hurt themselves as much as they've hurt us. They're debating if they want to attack. Alright, we will put our Boreal Grazer in front of that plant. Yep. Ooh, and we draw a forest, so we're gonna put a counter on the Evolution Sage. Play the forest. Yep, we're going to proliferate our stuff, not theirs. Yep. Make our stuff a little bit bigger. Make a 5/4 Evolution Sage. We're going to hold back. We're not going to attack here. They're definitely drawing a lot more cards. It would be nice if we had a value engine going right now. Oh, they're going to negative their Nissa again, and that actually makes their board absolutely huge. And they're going to Hero's Downfall us. Ugh. Well, as a message, we're going to tap make white. Yeah, I'll let that mana go. Didn't really need it, if I'm honest. Alrighty then, so they have lethal here. Let's make sure they know it. Yep, they know it. Alrighty then. Well, that was hurtful. That was offensive. That felt personally offensive. Lord Rawl, good luck to you, my opponent. I lost the die roll. They're going to decide if they're going to play first. I imagine they are. They are. And we can't keep this. 1 land and it's colorless? Yeah, not going to happen. This is better. This is serviceable at least. I think we put back... I think blindly we just put back the Bond of Flourishing. Because if they're a control deck, Bond of Flourishing isn't super helpful. And while there is a lot of aggro in the meta right now, it's not super helpful, I think. Most of the time. Alright, so we're going to play the forest and pass. Feels bad on the draw. This is a slow hand in general, especially on the draw, though. Alright, so our opponent is playing in, let's see here, what do we want to do? We're going to go ahead and Karn's Bastion, Paradise Druid. So our opponent is playing most likely either elves or some kind of combo deck here. Maybe the life gain / persist combo that's been going around since the new set dropped. I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn back to them. Let's see what they want to do. They play another Blooming Marsh and a Corsair Krufix. So yeah, it looks like they're playing, they might very well be playing the newer combo deck, I think. I'm going to play a land here. Going to... Well, let's go ahead and Wayward Swordtooth here. Next turn we can Nissa's Triumph, play 2 lands, and play Jiang Yonggu. Permanent count 8. Or we could play Voracious Hydra for 4. Make it a 4/5. Temple Garden tapped from the top of their library with a Shambling Vent on top. They're gonna Swift End our Swordtooth. Alright. And get in for 2. I'll let that happen. Bond of Flourishing. Alright. Well, we will start by Nissa's Triumphing. They have to read the card. Weird ass cards that we're playing. Grab 2 forests. Play a forest. I think we Bond of Flourishing. Gain some life. Look at some cards. Oh, and none of them are really good. We have a Karn's Bastion, and there's not much opportunity cost to having a second one. Having additional green mana is probably more useful here. And then I'll move to combat, and I'll poke in for 2. This turns on their Fatal Pushes and such, but I'd rather they spend it on a Paradise Druid than a Voracious Hydra or a Vitu-Ghazi. Since Vitu-Ghazi and Voracious Hydra both have CMCs of 2 or less, despite how big they're going to be. Alright, they have a Deathrite Shaman on top of their library, which should not be legal in Pioneer if it's banned in every other format. Except Legacy and... They get in for 2. I know it hasn't really seen a lot of play right now, but as they're going to cast Murderous Rider, as fetch lands become more and more valuable, it's just going to become such a... more and more common, more printed. Alright, so we're going to play a land here. So we can Voracious Hydra, X4, and either kill a Corsair or make it into an 8/9 with Trample. Well, I think we're going to Voracious Hydra. X4, yeah. Question is, what are we hitting? Are we going to kill the Corsair here? It won't shuffle away the Deathrite, and that's really what I want to do, so I think I just double the number of counters, make it into a 8/9. Hope they don't have a removal spell, essentially. They've got a Nissa on top. They crack the Fabled Passage. Get the Nissa off the top, apparently. Overgrown Tomb. I imagine they're going to play that with Courser. Play the Overgrown Tomb tapped. Get stuck with a Swamp on top. They play the Deathrite Shaman. And pass. On their second main, actually. Passed through their first main, went to their second main. Makes sense. Really thinking about it. And then they pass. Okay. Really had to think about that for a second, though. I get it. I get it. I really do. I get the having to think about it. So we're going to try and turn this Awakening of Vitu-Ghazi into a Ambush Viper a little bit. I want to make it look very tempting to attack into us and then make a 9/9. Alrighty then. They do not block our Voracious Hydra. They draw the Swamp, have an Overgrown Tomb on top. I imagine they're going to play that with the Courser of Krupix. They do. They have a Walking Ballista on top. Play the Overgrown Tomb tapped. Go up to 13. Alright, they're going to move to combat, attack with the Murderous Rider. In response, we're going to go ahead and Awaken a Forest. Oh, and they just scoop it up. Alright. Well, what is their opponent doing? They're just playing Abzan, which I don't really think we have a whole lot that does anything against. Not really, anyway. Rex Sage can hit Walking Ballista. They interact with us a lot, so Indra's Forerunners might be hard to cast, but it does speed up our clock some. So it might be worth bringing that in. Cutting a Jiangyanggu and an Evolution Sage, maybe? Because if we ever hit 8 mana, we can just play that and game over. Our opponent is deciding if they want to play first. They decide that they will. We get a hand with no lands and all ramp. I would consider this hand if I had 1 land. I will mulligan that. Oh, this isn't much better really, but we at least have the Bond of Flourishings to find something useful. Alright, so it's our opponent's turn. We're going to F6. They're really thinking about what they want to do here. Deciding if they want to play a land. They decide. They decide they're going to play a land. And then they pass the turn. Alrighty then, well we will play a Arboreal Grazer. They have to think about it. I know I'm usually the slow one, but I like to make fun of other people when I can, you know. I'm going to go ahead and put the Karn's Bastion into play and pass turn back. Nissa's a great pickup for us. That's a good ramp piece if we can get it down later. They play a Swamp and do nothing. Alrighty then, well we will rock you. I think I'm going to play the Paradise Druid here against my better instinct. Because if we draw a land, we can just get down this Nissa plus on a land and get out Bond of Flourishing. And that would be just a very, very good turn for us. And we are playing 24 lands, so it's not unlikely that we draw a land here. But we didn't, of course. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and fire off a Bond of Flourishing. See what's on top of our deck. Ooh, many things are on top of our library. Though I think we just want to take the forest, right? Right? Because that gets us up to the 5 mana we need for Nissa. I think that's what we do. And that acts as protection in case they kill one of our ramp pieces. I'm going to get in with Paradise Druid. There's no reason not to that I can see. Except a Fatal Push, of course, but I can't see a Fatal Push. They're going to Swift End it. Yep. Going down to 18. I'm actually super happy to see that in their exile. Because that is a really good answer to Nissa. Liliana, the Last Hope. They're going to kill a Llanowar. That's unfortunate. Yep. Well, that actually puts us back a turn. They get a Fabled Passage. Can fetch an untapped land. They pass the turn, I think, eventually. Eventually they pass the turn. Ah, there they go. Proud of them. Well, we drew the 5th land. So we'll Bond of Flourishing here. Voracious Hydra. Indra's Forerunners. Alright, well... This is a hard call, because if we get Indra's Forerunners and Nissa gets immediately killed, then we can't ever cast it. But it is... a pretty good way to get in at our opponent. Alternatively, Voracious Hydra, we can always cast it. It just won't be as big or as destructive as Indra's Forerunners will be, but I think it's just the safer choice. I think with our opponent being in the colors they are, we have to worry about them having decent removal. Just another Swift End would really ruin our day. Alrighty then, our opponent's turn. They tappy tap tap. They play the Nissa. Grab a forest. Get the forest. Play the forest. Make... tick up on nothing. They're not even going to hit our Arboreal Grazer. They're just going to tick up on nothing. Yep. Alrighty then, well, we will play a forest. Tap out, play Nissa. Tick up, make a forest into a 3/3. I think we're going to get in at Liliana here. I think they're more likely to block if I attack Liliana. And I want to get rid of the Nissa if I can. Apparently they don't. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm going too fast. It's just... the game is moving slower than I'm expecting it to. Alright, they decide not to block though. Liliana goes down to 2. They are going to make our forest small. A small forest, if you will. They're at 6 lands, about to flip this Nissa. Assuming Nissa's coming at our Nissa. Really self-destructive, that one. We're going to put an Arboreal Grazer in front of it. No reason not to. Even if they kill it, I don't care. Alrighty then. They crack their Fabled Passage, getting a Swamp. Play Walking Ballista X2. Alright. They can either kill our Forest or kill our Arboreal Grazer and keep their Walking Ballista. They're going to keep their Walking Ballista on 1. Alrighty then, well. Here's where we try to get our opponent to scoop, I think. Alrighty then, how much mana do we have? We have 9. Yeah, we have 9. We can make more. I think we... Do we want to turn... No, we don't want to. Do we? No. Alright, we're going to go ahead and cast this X7. Yep, X is 7. We're going to fight the Nissa, get that off the field so it can't flip. They're going to do a thing. Oh, Fatal Push. I don't know how fighting it works if it's Fatal Pushed. Apparently it doesn't. Simple answer there, I guess. Gonna go ahead and fire up this Forest. Make it into a 3/3. And pass the turn. They're going to Fatal Push again. Yep, Fatal Push again. Well, they can deal 2 damage to Nissa either way here. I imagine they're going to tick up their Lily on our Forest. Get it down to a 1/2. Yep. Alright, I'm actually... Do I want to let this go? I think I do, because it's not going to kill Nissa. And then I can plus kill their Liliana. And you know how Nissa feels about Liliana in the lore. She really does not like her. They are not friends. Alright, she's going to go ahead and... Or they are going to go ahead and flip their Nissa. And create a 4/4, a Shia, the Awoken World. Gonna cast their Murderous Rider as well. Alrighty then. Darksteel Citadel. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because we can plus on the Darksteel Citadel. Make it into a 3/3. I should have floated a colorless mana, since it would have been tapped it, but you know. I'm going to go ahead and Nissa's Triumph for 2 mana. Get some lands. Oh, and I get 1 of every land that I want. So I want Darksteel. And I'll take another Karn's Bastion. Why not? Alrighty then. Have I already played a land? I have. I played Darksteel. And... Undo. Well, let's go ahead and begin combat. Who am I attacking here? I think I attack Nissa. It doesn't matter, I think they're going to block either way, and I will just kill whatever they chump block with. By virtue of Karn's Bastion, I'm able to pump my Darksteel. Proliferate, yep. Gonna name all the things. All the things. God damn it. Okay. Yeah, all the things. Alrighty then. Kill the Rashaya. They're going to Fatal Push. Yep. They've drawn so many Fatal Pushes at this point. Starting to get a little frustrating. Alright. They get a Blooming Marsh. Off the top. They're gonna mill 2, name it C2 Traverses. Ugh, Grimflay is a problem. Hopefully our Dark Steels will be enough to hold that off. They're gonna pass. Alrighty then. Oh, Wayward Swordtooth. That is valuable, isn't it? Alrighty then. So what can we do here? I'm going to go ahead and undo that. Play Dark Steel. Tap. Play a Wayward Swordtooth. Going to tick up on Dark Steel. Play another forest, and then we will move to combat. Let's see, who are we attacking here? I think we want to finally get Liliana off the field. We are 1 permanent away from getting Wayward Swordtooth ascended, so next turn we can hopefully do that. They let that go. I'm going to go ahead and not do that now. There's no point in doing it now. I can do it at instant speed on my opponent's instep like a jerk. Alrighty then, they're gonna see a Deathrite Shaman on top. They're gonna traverse. Okay, there are 4 card types, so they get to grab a Heliod. Ooh, that might just be game. That's unfortunate. Yep. I don't think they quite have the mana to do it right now, which is somewhat fortunate. I'm just going to put both of these in front of that. And proliferate. Done. So, our opponent is... Oh shit, it had lifelink. That's unfortunate. Yeah, they win here then. I didn't even notice it had lifelink. Alright, yeah, concede. That's fair. They've got us. Alright. What do we want to bring in? Well, natural state hits the thing. Hits walking ballista. We are on the play though. I think we still bring it in, cutting a Llanowar and a Wayward Swordtooth, and we submit it back like that. Our opponent really had to fight for that though. Yes, I would love to play first. Oh. This is a rough hand. We don't have a second green source. I don't think I can keep that. It looks so good, but it's missing a second green source. I can't keep this for sure. Oh, don't let this be how this ends. Alright, we can keep this. Well, we'll put back Bond. We'll put back Jiang Yanggu. And we'll call that good enough anyway. We're going to play a forest. Going to play a Llanowar. Gonna hit F6. Gonna hit F6 again. See what our opponent is gonna do here. Basic Swamp Thoughtseize, Fatal Push. Okay. Well, that screws us up. We're gonna Karn Sebastian F6. We needed that Llanowar for the second green source. Alrighty then, Paradise Druid. F6, nothing else we can do. F6, nothing else we can do. They've got a Castle Lock Twain and a Shambling Vent. They're missing their own green sources. Murderous Rider. Alrighty then. Well, I'm going to Jian Yanggu. Minus on our Paradise Druid, since signals that we are willing to block. I don't know that we are willing to block, but I'm going to send signals that we are. Alrighty then. So our opponent is plays a Godless Shrine, untapped, still missing a green source. Fires up the Shambling Vent. They are both going at Jian Yanggu. I'm not gonna do anything about that then. Alrighty then, we draw a natural state, so we're gonna Nissa's Triumph. Get a forest, play the forest. So next turn we get off our Nissa. We're gonna F6. Oh, no. Do we want to attack here? That opens us up to Fatal Push, but we can cast Nissa next turn either way. And it gets a Fatal Push out of their hand. If they have it. We're not going to block the Murderous Rider anyway. Alright, they play a Fabled Passage. I imagine grabbing a forest here in a second. Alright, we take 2. Go down to 18. They go up to 21. Main phase 2. Just so you guys know what I'm playing with a little D10. I don't know if you guys can see that well. Nice little set. Got it for Christmas. They're cracking their Fabled Passage. I like to have something to play with. Yeah, grabbing a forest. Nailed it. Okay. That was a hard call by any means. I love my opponent's avatar. I'm a big fan of Nicol Bolas. He's a good guy, you know? I did say it opened us up to Fatal Push, but again, I'm glad to see it out of my opponent's hand. Alrighty then, they end their turn. We're going to go ahead and Nissa. There's a decent chance here that they're going to Swift end us after we fire up our forest, but that's okay. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and get in for 3. We do have Vigilance. That is a nice thing about that. Past the turn, they're gonna Castle Lock Twain. Take 5. Damn, they really need that card if they're willing to take that much for it. Apparently they didn't have a swift end. Here's Downfall is actually also legal if they had that in their sideboard, but we didn't see it game 2, so I imagine they don't. Nearly dropped my D10. They're going to play a Temple Garden untapped, go down to 11. Play a Courser. They probably had that second hand for a while. Temple Garden on top. Alrighty then, they're going to decide if they want to attack. They're not. They're going to pass turn. Excuse me. Alrighty then. Well. Alright, this is interesting. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the Karn's Bastion. Going to make 4 mana, untap one of these guys. Going to go ahead and Proliferate. Naming all the things. Dune. Then I'm going to move in to combat. Attempt to get in for 8. And we can tap these guys and Proliferate again. We're going to put the Courser in front of it. They're deciding if they want to double block. They don't. Alrighty then. Well, I'll let it go then. I'll get in for 4 real damage. Take them down to 7. I will Karn's Bastion on their instep at least. They're gonna make 5 mana. Or not. Gonna pay costs for an Ishkana Graph Widow. I forget this card exists. If there are 4 more card types among cards in graveyard, create 3 spiders. Okay, just with reach, no death touch. Alrighty then. They play Temple Garden untapped. Grimflayer. Alright. They're going to move to their instep. We're going to go ahead and Proliferate again. Dune. Okay. Now the question here becomes, do we want to get another creature, or do we want to give our creatures indestructible? It's a good question overall. I think if we give our creatures here indestructible and get all the forests out of our library, then we'll be in really good shape. Because then we're almost guaranteed to draw just action. What about you? Are you selected? Alrighty then. God damn you. There we go. Okay. Get all the forests. All of our lands have indestructible. We're gonna go to combat. Attack, attack. They're probably just gonna chump with their spiders now that they're indestructible. Now the nice thing here is that we can Proliferate with Karn's Bastion twice, getting Nissa up to 3 loyalty and killing 2 things. So they would have to attack all out and lose their two best creatures just in order to kill Nissa. And we would still have two ridiculously big, indestructible, hasty vigilancers. This is really where we want to be. This is what the goal of the deck is to be, is just to hit our opponent with really big lands, pretty much. Between Nissa and Vitu-Ghazi, we're just trying to hit our opponent with lands. Best resource in the game, really. Well, our opponent is really thinking about what they're traversing for. They don't have enough mana to just outright kill us if they are able to assemble their combo, which is great. It's great for us anyway. Traverse is a good card. It's a 1 mana tutor anything in green. Even blue and black have very few 1 mana tutors. Massacre Girl. That doesn't do anything against us because all our creatures... Oh, no, never mind. Because it gives it -X, -X. So the question here is... Alright, so... Alrighty, then we'll see what happens. Yep. They actually have a pretty good lineup. So what they're trying to do here is trying to make it so I can't kill the creatures, I believe. Because if I kill any of these creatures, that'll be 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, anything even with 5 toughness. But what they don't understand is I can make my thing 6 toughness. So I should, if my understanding of how this works is correct, I should be able to actually keep my forests alive, as Greenpeace always yells about. Pump, pump, pump. Done. Let that happen. Then we're going to proliferate again. Pump, pump, pump. Done. So my things should survive this, if my understanding is correct. And it should actually wipe their board. Alright, well, I was wrong. Oh, no, I wasn't. Okay, that was just hiding. I was like, well, my stuff is gone. No, it was just hiding. Indestructible, man. Yep, they just didn't do their math right. I will take that. Alrighty then, that was a close game. That was good. Their Massacre Girl just wasn't quite enough for me. It was a good choice on their part. They were close. Our double Kern's Bastion plus Indestructible was just enough to keep everything alive. Nissa, Who Shakes the World, is just a ridiculously powerful card. I'm not gonna say broken anymore because it's not true. I would love to play first. Good luck to my opponent, Army of Me. I feel that, opponent. I feel where you're coming from with that. We'll keep this. You know, my opponent's avatar, that's a handsome devil right there, you know. Definitely, you know, loving the avatar. Never seen it before. Never seen that avatar before in my life, but I gotta say, it looks good. Well, You know, it's my guild. You know, Demir. Blue Black Jank is really my guild, but you know, Demir is the closest to that. All right, he's gonna get in with Bomat Courier. I'm gonna let him. Yep. I go down to 19, and he gets to exile a thing. Question here is, do I want a Bond of Flourishing or Zhang Yanggu? I think I'm going to Evolution Sage. I don't know why that wasn't a line I thought of. But yeah, if I Evolution Sage here, then they have to stomp it. And if they don't, they can't attack in with Bomat Courier. Or Wild Slash. I mean, this might be burn, but it definitely looks like some kind of aggro-y zoo deck, either Gruel or is it? Well, then I don't know, actually. Okay. This is Mono Red Affinity. Yep. Do I want to trade off this Evolution Sage? I don't think I do, because I can make it big enough next turn to eat the Bomat Courier. I can make it into a 5/4. So I'll let them get their extra card off of it. They're not dumping their hand fast enough for this Bomat Courier to really be that much value. I'm just concerned about the food creature, whatever his name is. Play the Forest, Proliferate. Proliferate. Alrighty then. Make it into a 5/4. Pass the turn. I could attack. Or I could have attacked. Can't anymore. But I want to discourage my opponent from attacking with this Bomat Courier anymore. That might be a mistake. We'll see. They play another Bomat Courier. They play a Shrapnel Blast, sacking the Bomat Courier. Alright, well that's a thing, yeah. Well then the question is, do they want to kill my Zhang Yanggu, or do they want to attack me? There we go. Okay, it wouldn't show me for a second. Alright, a land here would be great. That's not a land. Well, then we're going to Bond of Flourishing, hopefully for a land, then play some Wayward Swordtooths. Ooh, Karn's Bastion is actually a great land. Any order. Karn's Bastion. Wayward Swordtooth. Does nothing right now, but hopefully it will soon. Oh, crack. Our opponent plays another mountain. Gets in with the Bomat Courier. Alright, they're gonna pay 4 mana for something. Banefire. Banefired for 3 my face. Okay. Well, let's see. We're only at 6 permanents right now, so there's no value in playing the other Wayward Swordtooth. The best thing I can do then is play the Nissa. Make a 3/3. And get in with it. Them shrapnel blasting my evolution sage doesn't really upset me that much. I know that was a while ago, but I'm going to comment on it now because I've been thinking about it just now. It doesn't upset me that much because ultimately that's 5 damage that's not coming at my face, and it cost them 2 cards and 3 mana to do it, which isn't hard. It isn't bad for me. And then my Zhang Yanggu, in addition to that, gained me another 3 life, which is just great. So between those cards, I gained 8 life for just doing what I would be doing. So I'm not upset with what happened there. I suppose technically there was 5 damage left off the table. 5 damage I didn't deal it to them, but it was at least 5 damage that wasn't dealt to me either, so. And as I have a low life total, 5 damage to me is more than 5 damage to them. They're really thinking about what they want to do. It's rare for my opponent's timer to be lower than mine. Really thinking about it, though. Really thinking. Opponent! Opponent! Please play something. Or attack, or pass, or do something. Hell, even loot with Gyre's Sanctum. I could get rid of, I suppose another Wayward Swordtooth wouldn't be bad. Or maybe the card on top of my library is bad. I don't know. Getting tired, though, and my opponent's playing slow. Oh, okay. They're moving to combat. I will absolutely block the Bowmat Courier here. They're not going to attack with it. Because if they attack with it, they're just doing so in order to draw 5 cards. They're not going to kill my Forced. Alright, they're going to pay 4 mana. Banefire me again. Not going to Banefire me for 5. They're going to keep 1 red mana up for their Bowmat Courier, apparently. Which is just funny to me. Alrighty then. Okay, so we can actually ascend this turn. And we can pump our forests. They're going to fizzle and attack with their Bowmat Courier, but that's what it is. Alrighty then. So, let's do this. Let's tap 2. Untap. We will go ahead and proliferate. Naming you. Dune. Make some big things. And then move to combat. Attack. I could technically ascend before combat, but that would only add 1 damage worth by making me attack with a Wayward Swordtooth instead of a Forest. Alright, they're going to go ahead and discard a Gravatic Punch. I'm not seeing that in most builds yet. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target player. Okay. And then they go down to 13. We're going to go ahead and play an Arboreal Grazer. Yep, can't do that. Can't do that. Tap Forest, play a Wayward Swordtooth, get the city's blessing, and have 5 extra power. So essentially, right now, it's our opponent can either kill us or we can kill them, because we've got way over lethal on the board right now. Alright, they're going to loot. We would like to partake in the looting, but we don't really have an option for that. We're just gonna discard the we're just gonna mill the top card. Oh, and we win! Nice! Alrighty then. Well, we know what we're bringing in. We're gonna bring in Feed the Clans. And I think that's it, actually. So confident. I am. I'm so confident. Going down in Nissa's Triumph, that's slow. Going down an Awakening, is that slow? Is that slow? Our big creatures are actually really good against our opponent. Since they're mono red, they don't have good removal. Anything with 5 toughness or larger is hard for our opponent to deal with. We're going to go down to Swordtooth and Llanowar Elf. So our big creatures are just really good against our opponent. Where normally our CMC 2/0 creatures would die to a Fatal Push, they don't die to a Shrapnel Blast. Well, we have a Paradise Druid which has Hexproof, and that does ramp us. It feels slow. I don't like that. But I think we're going to keep it anyway. So our opponent kept 7 as well. No, they mulliganed to 6, I'm sorry. I looked at the... London Mulligan makes it hard for me to understand MTGO. I looked at their hand and it said 7 cards, but then I looked over at the chat log and it said they mulliganed to 6. Alright, I dropped my die. Oh! Dropped my fidget die. Alright, they're going to get that turn 1 Bowmat. Get in exile. Yuppity yup. Yuppity yup. Alright, we draw a Bond of Flourishing, which we cannot cast yet. So we're just going to play a land and pass through our turn. Pass through their turn. Alright, they have their second land. I was hoping that it didn't, but, you know. Alright, and they're going to equip a Ghostfire Blade to their Bowmat Courier. Get in for 3 and exile another card. Oh, my ankle's locked up. I need to pop it. Alrighty then. We go down to 16 here. Our Bond of Flourishing gains us some life, which is helpful. Alright, I think we play a land. We can play the Paradise Druid. Next turn we can make a 4/5 Voracious Hydra and kill their Bowmat Courier if they tap out. I think that's what we do, because that represents essentially a loss for them of 3 cards. As if we had made them discard 3 cards even, which is huge. Especially on a deck like that, against a deck like this that doesn't draw a lot on their own. Why do they have a Darksteel Citadel? Oh, just a thing to sack the Shrapnel Blast. I was thinking, like, why do they need an indestructible land? We need an indestructible land because it becomes an indestructible creature. A 5/5 Bowmat Courier is harder for us to deal with. Yep, we're going to let it go through. We're going to go down to 11, which is not ideal. Well, that means that we have to wait essentially another turn before we can safely cast Voracious Hydra. And they have started leaving up mana for Bowmat Courier sacking. So what we're going to do here is Bond of Flourishing. Buy us a little bit of time. grab a... I guess grab a forest. Land where elf just dies and it's not worth the mana. And then play another Bond of Flourishing. This gives us the potential to be blown out, though, by a removal spell. I think we don't do that. Yeah, I think we just pass. We're not even going to attack. I kind of expected it to pass through. I don't know why. It never does, but I just expected it to. Gaia Reach Sanitarium. We're going to get in 4-5. 4-5. 6-7. 8-9. And we're going to let him. My hope here is that they tap out a red mana, though I know that's unlikely. Oh god, an 8-8. That hurts. It looks like they don't have a lot of creatures though, yet. Actually, no. If we play the Darksteel, if we fire up the Darksteel with Nissa, while we would have an indestructible blocker, they would just keep setting up on us. Our best bet here is just to play Voracious Hydra and try to kill the Bomat Courier. They still get to draw 4 cards off of it, but it's better than nothing. Oh wait, shit. Shitty shit. I totally misremembered how Voracious Hydra works. Well, we'll still do it. It'll become a... We're not going to use it as a removal spell. We'll just make it into a 6-7. I don't know what kind of brain fart that was. I thought that it was the amount that you paid for it for a second, rather than the actual value of X is the amount that you fight for. Okay. So we're going to get a 6-7. They get to draw an extra card off this Bomat when they attack in. Oh, are they going to kill it now? They're going to Shrapnel Blast, giving up their Darksteel. Yeah, okay. We're technically not out, so we're not going to concede yet. A pump spell kills us, but that's beside the point. And they do get to draw, I guess, 6 cards off of their Bomat Courier, and they just need to find a Shrapnel Blast and we're dead. But not conceding till the fat lady sings. Fat lady in this case being Bomat Courier. Alrighty then. Ooh, Bond of Flourishing does gain us some life. That's valuable to us. Alright, well I think we have to... do this. We get to Nissa, plus on our Darksteel, make that into a 3/3 indestructible. And we get to cast a Bond of Flourishing, go up to 4. We're still dead to a Shrapnel Blast, but we're not dead to Wild Slash, so that's valuable. And we will grab... I suppose the Evolution Sage here. Nissa's Triumph is what we want, but we can't do that. Alright, so we're gonna get in with the Darksteel Citadel. Put them down to 17. They get to attack in with Bomat Courier again. They're gonna loot. We'll discard the extra Nissa. They discard a mountain. Alright, they get in with Bomat Courier. We're going to block it with our indestructible creature. But they still effectively get to draw 6 cards here if they want to. Oh, and we're dead. Okay. Alrighty then, let's... I think we just run it back like that. I don't think there's anything else that we want to put in, or anything along those lines. We're a turn too slow, I think. Because next turn we would have gone up to 7, and gotten more creatures, and made our current creature bigger into a 5/5. And it just, at that point, I think it would have been hard for our opponent to get back in the game because they wouldn't have been able to deal damage to us anymore. We were just one turn too slow, though. And that's all right. I haven't seen their food creature guy, the gingerbread man, whatever his name is. Though I expect they're playing it. Because if they're playing Ghostfire Blade, they're definitely going to be playing that. I see no reason why not. I'm just surprised that we haven't seen it. I would love to go first. I forgot what key was yes for a second. I didn't want to screw that up. Oh, wow. Well, we're putting a lot on this Llanowar Elf, but if we can keep this Llanowar Elf for one turn, then this is a great hand. If we can keep it for more than one turn, it's a better hand. But if we lose Llanowar Elf turn 1, then we're kind of screwed. Land, Llanowar, Llanowar Elf, F6. Our opponent went down to 6, which I would like to see them down to like 3 or 2, ideally. But seeing them down a card is better than not down a card. Oh, and they have no turn 1 play, which is weird for them. Works for us, though. Wayward Swordtooth. We're going to play another Forest. And next turn, if they don't kill our Llanowar, we get a Nissa. And that will be huge for us. In a lot of ways, I suppose. They play their second mountain. Don't know what they're doing now. Oh, they mutiny. Target creature an opponent controls deals damage. Okay, so they had my Wayward Swordtooth fight my Llanowar. Alright. That's rude, but whatever. So unless we draw a land here, we don't get the Nissa this turn. Which that is not a land. But we can play a big Voracious Hydra. And that's not upsetting. A 4/5 Voracious Hydra. It freaked me out for a second, like, oh shit, I didn't make a decision. But no, it's just, there was only one decision that could be made, so it made the decision for me. Freaked me out, though. Alrighty then. I would like to be able to cast this Nissa soon. Deck, if that would be okay with you. Steel Overseer. Alright, I imagine they're going to go ahead and equip the Ghostfire Blade to it. Unless they have another 1 mana play. Yep, they're going to equip the Ghostfire Blade. I love how it still says equip 3, even though it's equip 1 on a colorless. Because the technical wording of it is equip 3, but it costs 2 less on a colorless. Alright, well that's not a land, but it can find me a land. Bond of Flourishing. Okay, apparently it can't find me a land. Yep. I wanted those as well. We're gonna play the Arboreal Grazer, I guess, for no reason. Yep. Yep. We're gonna get in with the Voracious Hydra. They're most likely not gonna block here, because they know that the Steel Overseer over a little bit of time can get bigger than this Voracious Hydra can. Actually, it can get bigger. My thing can get bigger because Proliferate, but that depends on if I want to do that and if I draw land to do that with. They play a Springleaf Drum. Alright. This is what I mean when I was surprised when they didn't have a turn 1 play. They have so many turn 1 plays. Alright, they're going to go ahead and draw. Because that's all that Crash 3 does, really. They get 1 extra damage in, I think, unless they have another Ghostfire Blade. At which point there's no real point for me to block anyway. Sword of the Animist. Alright. Yep. We draw an Evolution Sage. Well, that is what it is. We're going to go ahead and get in because they still can't trade with my Voracious Hydra yet. I'm going to get all the value out of that I can. Doing that a little bit early, don't you think, opponent? I still have mana up. I'm going to go ahead and play an Evolution Sage. Not that I'm in white, not that I could kill tapped creatures or anything along those lines, but I'm just saying. Alright. If we draw a land here, we can actually ascend, which would be great. Dang, if I don't want to finally draw a land. Now that we haven't for the last 4 draws. And with 24, we should see it more than every 3 draws. Every 2 and 2/3 draws, give or take. Alright, they're going to equip that, make it a 5/5. We're going to trade off this Arboreal Grazer, probably. Actually, I'm not going to block. I don't think. They're not going to attack either, so I guess that decision's made for me. I'm going to draw and hope for a land. Yes! That's a land! Oh, even better than a land, it's an indestructible land. Yep, we're gonna... Yep. We only get to proliferate the Voracious Hydra because we don't have anything else to proliferate at the moment. Alrighty then. We're gonna go ahead and Nissa. Plus on the Darksteel Citadel. And we have the city's blessing now. But we can't attack yet. Well, we can attack with the Darksteel Citadel, I suppose. Well, that's interesting. If we attack with the Voracious Hydra and the Darksteel Citadel, we'll get 3 damage in, but we'll lose the Voracious Hydra. Yeah, that's not really worth it. It's worth considering, though. Actually, if we attacked with all of them, we'd get 8 damage in, which would bring them down to 4. Then I could attack around their blocker again next turn. I suppose that has value. Maybe I should have done that. But next turn, we get to fire up one of these forests, turn it into a 9/9. And fire up another one, turn it into a 3/3, and then we can really attack around blockers. And I think that'll actually be lethal even with the Bowmat Courier on the board. Because then we have 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. Is that right? No. We actually have higher than that. Because they block Two biggest things, we have 6, 9. We have 9 damage. So we have less than that. My bad. Okay. Alternatively, we can just proliferate the things we have, and then the Steel Overseer doesn't even matter. Alrighty then. I'm going to make the opponent cycle their Bomat Courier. Yep. They had a Gravatic Punch in hand. Fair. Oh no. My poor opponent. Gaia Reach Sanatorium does not save them. And milling a card doesn't save them either. Oh, well, that's actually interesting. Yeah, that gets us to lethal actually better than Awakening of Vitu-Ghazi does. Yep, and they just concede. Okay. Well, now we're 2-2. I mean, that's exciting. Not 2-3. Not 3-2 though. That would be even better. All right, so let's go into our last game. This is usually where I end up talking a little bit about how I feel about the deck at this point, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like it's a good deck. I feel like it's a lot more competitive than we're seeing, just because, honestly, pool playing probably, and some combination of that. Like, I'm sure I've kept some bad hands that have made it even worse or mulliganed away manageable hands. Getting a little bit of a headache. I'll keep this. I need the Paradise Druid, need the lands, need the Nissa, so it's between these two what I mulligan. I think I get rid of the Evolution Sage, because by the time I'm playing it, I'm going to be out of lands. Versus Voracious Hydra, I can play it for a lot of value at any point in the game, really. They play a no art plains. Oh no, it's brand new art plains. Alrighty then, I'm just going to play a land and pass. That is... The new art is freaking gorgeous. Really. It's unfair to the other art. I don't know why. I didn't mean to do that. I hit OK by accident. Didn't pass through all of my turn, but did, you know. Alright, so they play a Starfield Mystic, and they're getting a discount on their enchantments now. Looks like some kind of mono white enchantment deck. Enchantment Prison, maybe? I don't know how many prison pieces exist in the Pioneer format. I know I was considering an Enchantment Prison deck in Modern, in the same mono color. Because of cards like Starfield Mystic and the Enchantresses. Sentinel Eyes. Okay, this is Boggles then. Which Boggles is good against us. We don't have a lot that we can do to interact with our opponent. We're going to scry one off the top with Temple of Epiphany. I still don't know which one of those is right. Alrighty then, what do we want to do here? Obviously, our primary goal here is to get to Nissa. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to play a Voracious Hydra as a 4/5 as a way to discourage our opponent from killing us. Alrighty then, and we will just pass the turn back. If we can get a land off the top, we can just play the Nissa and we're doing great. Otherwise, we have to cast this Nissa's Triumph, get a land, and play the Jongyungu, which will allow us to grow the Voracious Hydra. God dang. Oh, that hurts. They're gonna Banishing Light our Voracious Hydra. Yeah. And now there's no point in even getting it back because it'll enter in as a 0/1. Alright, they're going to attack in for 3. We're going to let them. Oh, and we drew a land, so that's actually great. How great is it? Going to tap out, play the Nissa. +1, make forest into a thingy. A thingy, the technical term, you know, thingy. Yep, and then we'll pass the turn. If Nissa's Triumph were an instant, I would love it so much more. The fact that it's a sorcery makes it a little hard to get a whole lot of value off of it, because we can't cast it while we're blocking with the forest we make with Nissa. So we have to decide if we want to keep the forest untapped, or keep Nissa, or use Nissa's Triumph. So our opponent is doing a reverse Serum Visions. Let's see, what did they put 2 cards on top, so that's unfortunate for us. They liked what they saw. They're gonna cast an Usher to Safety. Let's see. Return target permanent you control to its owner's hand. Ah, god dang. So we get back our 0/1, and we're gonna double the number of +1 counters on it because fighting would just be kind of pointless. But that does give us a blocker to keep Nissa nice and healthy. They're going to Banishing Light our forest, though, which is unfortunate. Having 2 Starfield Mystics makes this deck look really powerful. Oh, they're going to Banishing Light our Nissa. Okay. I think I'm actually okay with that. As weird as that sounds. If we draw a forest, I'm really okay with it. So they're debating if I'd be willing to trade off my forest for the Starfield. And if I'm honest, I don't know. I'd cross that bridge when I come to it. Alright, so that's a land. So that actually puts us in a pretty good position, I think. Because now... no, I can't do it like that. I can do it. I just can't do it like that. You don't know what I'm talking about, but that's fine. No one asked you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Internet. Play the Nissa. Plus on a forest. And pass the turn. It might have been right to attack into the Starfield Mystic. They're going to Usher to Safety the Banishing Light again. That's insulting. That's frustrating for me. Yeah, they're going to Banishing Light my Nissa again. I haven't even seen this adventure. It hasn't seen any play that I've seen. This is the first deck that I've seen it with. I suppose it works very well with the Theros cards and the M20 Starfield Mystic. It's effectively a blink card for the banishing lights and such. Not quite as good as a blink card, because they would have to... They still have to recast their banishing light. But when it only costs what it costs now, it's like, meh, who cares? Alright, there's more mana, which I'm not upset about. What do we want to do here? Well, I'm going to go ahead and attack in with my 2 forests and see what my opponent does here. See if they're aware that I can proliferate. Apparently they're not. I was just testing them. I kind of expected them to be aware of that, but, you know, I will take the blowout. And then, yep, pass through. That actually puts me in a great position all of a sudden, because now my opponent has 1 card in hand, draws 1, gets to scry 2 beforehand, but meh. All they have of note is a 4/4, and they can't blink that banishing light again, because I'll get my Nissa back. So they're really running out of things to do. All they have is a Shepherd in exile, and scry 2. They put 2 cards on the bottom, so they don't like what they're drawing, which is ideal for me. Alright, the opponent's going to cast something with their 2 cards in hand. Sentinel Eyes. Alright, they're going to make their Starfield Mystic a 5/5 with Vigilance. If they're going to attack us, I'm just going to chump with my Voracious Hydra. Truly voracious, by the way. My 0/1. 0/1 Trample, because that's valuable. It is, just not right now. Yep. Alrighty then. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can blow out our opponent again. So we're going to do something a little tricky here. We're going to go ahead and Nissa's Triumph, get 2 forests, play a forest, tap it, play an Arboreal Grazer. Yep, put in a forest. So now our opponent, we have enough mana to proliferate, but it's very likely our opponent doesn't notice that, because they don't realize that they might not realize that our forests can tap for mana. These two. They would realize that forests tap for mana, just maybe not ours, you know. You understand. You know what I'm saying. They're definitely thinking about it. Alright, they're going to chump. Yeah, that's a chump either way. Yep, in that case, I'm not going to pump my things until my opponent's turn. So, my opponent has 2 cards in hand. Really struggling with our forests. Nissa, who shakes the world. Really makes this deck work a lot better than it would. Alright, they're going to play another Starfield Mystic. And they're not going to attack, but on their instep, I'm going to go ahead and Proliferate. Make my fourths into 5/5s. then let's think for a moment. Because now I am tempted to play the Jiangyonggu to buff a Paradise, or to buff something, I don't know. I guess our Boil Grazer makes a really good blocker, but Paradise Druid has a lot of toughness, has a lot of power. And then when I Proliferate, which I should still be able to do, yeah, I will be able to buff the Paradise Druid as well. Yeah, I think that's what I do. Jiangyonggu. No, I think I do the Arboreal Grazer. Because that way, if I need an extra mana, I have an extra mana. In the tank, so to speak. And in other games, I might not have been aggressive at the right times. Like right now, I feel like being aggressive works really well. Because even though our creatures are roughly the same size, because I can grow my creatures, I'm able to trade up easily. And my opponent being afraid to, yeah, to do that kind of shit stuff makes my stuff work better. Yeah, that's the correct blocking order. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so now I get to tap, tap, tap. I guess I tap the other Karn's Bastion since I'm not going to be able to proliferate again. Proliferate. Naming you, you. You, you. Done. And kill the Starfield Mystic. His other Starfield Mystic goes up to 3 power. But I still have a 6/6 and a 2/5 and a 2/1 and a planeswalker and the ability to proliferate. If I put a counter on Voracious Hydra, I would then have 8 mana that isn't produced by Karn's Bastion, so I can proliferate twice a turn. Which would just get ridiculous rather quickly. So opponent looks like they drew something. Archon of Sun's Great. I'm going to have to read this. Flying lifelink. Pegasus have lifelink. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 Pegasus. Okay. So far it gains life and blocks, but if they have an enchantment, that would give them another blocker and the ability to gain life, so they do, of course. Makes it a 4/5 with vigilance and lifelink and flying. lots of keywords on there. Alrighty then. Let's go ahead and put a counter on Voracious Hydra. Alright. Had some lag there for a moment. Alrighty then. And then let's see. So our opponent can currently block for 9, but I can essentially wipe the board if they do that. Yeah, I think that's alright with me. So I'll attack in with the Forest. It's most likely that they're going to chump with the Pegasus. Yep. But that forces them to keep finding enchantments to play to make more Pegasi. And we can grow our team absolutely huge here. Alrighty then, the opponent is going to cast something, most likely an enchantment. 4. Dance of the Manse, getting back. Okay. That is an enchantment, so they do get a thingy. A Pegasus. My fiance has been wanting a horse deck, and I think if I combined Archon of Sun's Grace and... Oh, there's another Omen, so they can make another Pegasus. I think if I combine Archon of Sun's Grace with the Monket horse, what's its name? Whenever you gain a life, create a horse. Horses you control have indestructible. I could make a decent horse deck. Are they going to attack in with Archon is the question here. It has vigilance, there's no reason not to, yeah. Are they going to kill Jiang Yong? No, they're going to attack me. They should kill Jiang Yong. Just saying. That would be the right choice, but I will happily have them attack me. Oh, waiting on me. Oh wait, no. Oh shoot, I could block with Arboreal Grazer. Damn. Oh well. That was a misstep on my part. I forgot Arboreal Grazer had reach for a second there. Alright, so let's go ahead and proliferate. You. Done. Then let's go ahead and proliferate. You. Done. Okay. Well, let's see here. Let's go ahead and put a counter on the Paradise Druid. How do we want to do this? I think I should wait another turn before I try to get in with everything, because my stuff currently, most of my stuff could still die. Or am I just being cowardly? No, I think I'm doing the right thing here. I think holding up Arboreal Grazer to threaten killing the Archon also helps. Let's see what my opponent can 2, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they can kill my forest if they want to essentially blow themselves out, which I'm okay with. But it will reset the life total to ridiculously high. Otherwise they can jump with a 2/2 and go up to 18, but I at least get the 2/2 out of the way. I think that's my best line here. My best line of play. That's a kind of conceited way to talk. My best line. It's my best line right here. I know I'm not the only person who says that, but still, I'm like, oh wow, I just heard myself. Alrighty then. My opponent is making a lot more value per turn than I am, which is a problem. But I'm about to have my creatures so big that it's hard for them to even deal with. And that's really where I want to be. Alright, so they put one card on top, so they did get to choose what they drew. I imagine it's a enchantment. They're getting to look at a lot of cards, which makes this unfortunate. Because eventually they're just going to find something. Not much hits forests, though, so that's something for me. In my corner. Non-land permanents, yep. They're deciding what they want to hit with the Banishing Light here. They're going to hit the Arboreal Grazer. That makes sense. Alright, I'm going to tap it. 4 mana. And then Proliferate.